What is going on, flexibility maestros? So today I want to show you how to improve the strength and flexibility of your hips and groin using the horse riding stance. Now, the horse stance is a fundamental stance that's been used for many years in traditional martial arts to develop strength, endurance, and stability in the legs and hips. But if we make a few tweaks to the positioning and the intentions that we are bringing to the position, all of a sudden the horse stance becomes a very effective tool for developing frontal plane flexibility for positions like the side split, for example. And this take on the position was first introduced by Thomas Kurz in his book Stretching Scientifically, which, by the way, if you are interested in this stuff, I would highly recommend to take a look at his book. It's basically a guide for improving flexibility. And so I use the horse stance a lot in my own journey to unlocking my side split. And there is some form of horse stance work in every single program that I write for my students. It's a fundamental position for frontal plane flexibility, and in my opinion, it is essential for side splits training. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is PJ May. I am a flexibility coach for martial artists, and the reason that I make these videos is because there is a lot of people that struggle with their flexibility, and I don't want you to be one of them. So without further ado, let's go over what I want to teach you today, which is how to perform the CRAC method from the horse stance to improve the position and develop better hip flexibility. Now, just to give you a basic overview of the attributes of the position that we're looking to maintain and how to get set up in it, we're going to start with our feet together. And for this exercise, we can either start with the 3-step, which is going to be your most basic entry point, or we could expand that to a 5-step over time. But how it's going to look is we're going to kick the heels out first, which is step 1, then the toes out, step 2, heels out again, that's our 3rd step. And then from here, the traditional martial arts will have you train this position with your feet and toes pointing forwards, and then squat into the position from here, just simply because they use it more for a strength and conditioning of the hips type of exercise. And not only that, but it also has great carryover. It's a fundamental stance to transition from different stances to and from. But for the application of flexibility training, we're gonna actually want to externally rotate our feet so that the toes are pointing more outwards. This is gonna help facilitate greater external rotation of your hips so that we can create a better lengthening stretch sensation through the groin here. And of course, with the 5-step, we're just taking those 2 extra steps to get into a wider position and coming down from here. Now, the most important aspect of this position is finding a strong anterior pelvic tilt, which in other words is just an arch in your low back. Ideally, we want to find that position from a more upright posture, as that's just a greater expression of range from the hips. But if you have trouble with that, we can lean forwards as much as needed to find that good anterior tilt. And the other important attribute of this position is maximizing the external rotation of our hips. So think about opening your knees outwards to open up the groin a lot more. And if you find it really hard to open the knees outwards, that's okay. This drill is actually going to help you improve that over time. But what we can do in the meantime is externally rotate the feet more. So turn the feet more outwards, and that's going to just help facilitate a better externally rotated position of the hips. We just want to avoid having the knees caving in like this. Now, the reason it's called the CRAC method is because CRAC stands for contract, relax, agonist, contract. So basically the concept is that we're performing the contract, relax method on both sides of the joint. So before we start our set, we can just come down into the position, play around a little bit, get settled in and a little comfortable into the position. And when you're ready, we can start our set. So the first contraction we're going to be doing is an antagonist contraction, which is contracting the lengthening or opening side of the joint. We're contracting against the stretch. So what we're going to do here is put your fists on the inside of your knees, and you're going to squeeze your knees into them for a 5 to 10 second interval. Then we're going to relax. And this is not like a true relaxation, right? What we're really looking to do is reset our intentions of applying that anterior tilt and trying to maybe sink a little deeper into the position. So we're resetting the position, resetting the intentions, making sure that we're optimizing our pelvic position during that relax interval. Then we can perform an agonist contraction on the other side of the joint, which is going to be the outside. So you're going to do the same thing. Put your fists or your hands on the outside of your knees. Contract against them as if to open your knees. Relax. Settle into the position. Reset the pelvis. Sink a little lower if you can. Think about enforcing that anterior tilt. You can play around with the position a bit during these relaxed phases if you like. Then we're going to repeat that again. Antagonist contraction, relax, agonist contraction, relax. And you should find that with every round of the CRAC method and every set that you're doing, you're progressively opening up into the position a little more and finding easier access to the primary attributes of the position that we're looking for. So your goal is to improve the position over the course of each set that you're doing. And just to give you some general guidelines for executing this exercise, first of all, I strongly recommend to take a moment to just settle into the position first before you start your set of contractions. Now, I generally prescribe this in intervals of 5 seconds on and 5 seconds off. So one round of the CRAC method doing contractions on both sides is going to be 20 seconds total. So you'd contract against the stretch for 5 seconds, then relax and explore the position for 5 seconds, then contract with the stretch for another 5 seconds, then relax and explore the position again for another 5 seconds. And so that brings us to 20 seconds total, contracting on both sides of the joint. And the idea is to try and repeat that process several times over the course of the set. A really good standard to work towards with this position is going to be developing the strength and conditioning to hold a 3-step horse stance for 2 to 3 minutes straight. And once you're dominating the 3-step stance, we can then aim to do the same with a 5-step stance. But at a more beginner level, we'll want to accumulate that same time under tension in the position over the course of multiple sets. So for example, if you're really struggling with this position, then we can aim to do 6 to 9 sets of just one round of the CRAC method, which is 20 seconds in the position, and that will get us into that 2 to 3 minute range. The next step up from that would be doing 3 to 4 sets of 2 rounds of the CRAC method, which would make each set 40 seconds. Then from there, we can build up to 3 sets of 3 rounds, then 2 to 3 sets of 4 rounds, and working all the way up to 1 set of 6 rounds for a 2-minute set, or 1 set of 9 rounds for a 3-minute set. And I guarantee by the time you work your way up to a 3-minute horse stance hold, whether it's a 3-step stance or a 5-step stance, you will be experiencing significant improvements in your hip mobility. So I hope this exercise serves you well. I hope the video was helpful for you. If you did enjoy it, please drop a like to let me know. Feel free to leave any questions or thoughts in the comment section below. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're looking for more flexibility content just like this. I'll see you in the next one, maestros.